right. I think we're live here. I think we're ready to rock and roll soon. What's up, James? How you doing? It's weird. It's like you're talking to yourself. I'm just in here having a conversation with myself, and then you guys are on the other line. So this will be good. I'm excited for it. We're going to give it a couple minutes. We're going to get started at probably 3:05. So if you're around, just grab a putter, grab a couple balls, and we'll get started here soon. Should be good. Should be a good half hour or so. I'm trying to make everybody better putters. That's the goal. We can get everyone tuned in here. Hey, Artie, what's going on? Brian, good to see you're on there. Amanda, what's up? Hopefully you guys, some of you have been able to get out to the golf course. I've been stuck at home, but hoping to get out to play soon. Us New Yorkers, we're still stuck inside, so hopefully soon we'll be back out there. Just stay positive, get excited. It's going to be a fun summer. Hi, Mom. Glad to see you're on the line. Glad to see you're joining us. What's up, Kelly? Hi, Dad. Ooh, James, you played Bethpage. Nice. That course is a monster. I mean, I remember going for the PGA Championship last year and was exhausted by the end. It was crazy. All right, we'll get started here soon once my lawnmowers are out of the way. I don't know if you can hear them, but they're out there. They just happen to come conveniently at 3 o'clock. All right, we will get started here in about a minute. I'm going to go over putting today, so if you guys have any good putting questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section, and then I'll try to get to them as quickly as possible. I don't have much room to work with today. I'm just in my bedroom here, and hopefully I'll be able to give you guys some good drills. So should be good. Should be a fun little session. Should have been playing music right now while we're waiting. What's up, Matt? Dad, you might need a couple more tips than just the average person who's on here. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So my name is Brittany Testa. I'm a PGA golf professional at the Maidstone Club and the River Club in New York City. One thing that's super cool about my job is that I get to be in New York year-round, and I teach people indoors for the majority of the year. So usually right around the school year, I'm teaching in the heart of New York City. So it's pretty cool. I get to work with a lot of people on the simulators, and I get to work with them with their putting a lot, because we can't do a lot of chipping and we can't do bunkers because it's a pretty tight space. So putting is something that I'm really excited to teach. I like teaching it. I think it's a really important part of the game. So if you look here, if I hold my putter up, I've got a Clemson colored TaylorMade Spider putter. It's got some orange and some purple on it. I love it. I just got it this year. So if I put the ball up against the putter face, okay, you can see how much room it takes up. There's probably only about an inch or so on the heel and the toe. Okay, so there's not much space. So if I take the putter and I open it 2 degrees or close it 2 degrees, that's gonna really change the way that the putter face hits the ball, okay? So when we think about putting, let's compare it to a driver. If I take this ball and I put it up against the driver face here, there's probably about 2 inches, an inch and a half. So it's got a lot more space. So if I move the driver 2 degrees open or 2 degrees closed, I might be 15 yards to the left, 15 yards to the right, but it's still going to be pretty playable. Versus putting, if you're 2 degrees to the left or to the right or open or closed, you're going to miss the putt. Okay, so that's just the way it is, and we're going to have to really make sure that we hit the center of the putter face every time. So we're going to go over a couple things today that'll help you, hopefully get you guys hitting the center of the putter face. So the first thing we're going to focus on is the grip. The grip is super important, okay? So the way that you grip your putter, your grip is the only thing that's actually touching the club. So there's a bunch of different ways you can grip your putter. So you can do a standard grip, which is just, I'm just going to speak in terms of a right-handed golfer today, but if I take my left hand and just put it on the club with my thumb pointing down, and then take my right hand and just cover my thumb, just like your standard baseball golf grip. This is what we call the traditional putting grip. Nothing crazy about it, nothing fancy. A lot of people like this one. And it's just because for beginners, it's tough to change your grip and it's tough to get used to new habits. But I think that we can try a bunch of different types of grips. I think that everyone should kind of work through different styles of grips just to see what works best for them. Okay, so what I use is the reverse overlap grip. So what I do is I'll take my left hand, I'll put it on the grip, just like before, take my right hand, do the same, and then I'm actually going to take my left hand pointer finger and just put it over my right hand fingers, just like that. This is the most commonly taught grip amongst the tour pros. So it emulates a regular overlap grip, and it helps keep your left hand and your right hand connected. So that's what's going to help give you the best feedback. This grip, I think, gives you the best feedback. That's a pro of it. One of the cons is that the right hand can still manipulate the grip pretty quickly. Okay, so when we think about putting, the left hand is going to control direction. So it's going to control how we move the putter face. And then the right hand is going to control our speed. So when we think in terms of grip, how our left hand is on the putter face, or how it's on the grip, how our right hand's on the grip, we want to make sure that we pick the right one for us. So left hand is for direction, right hand is for speed. Okay, so the next one you can do, and it's pretty popular, is the cross hand grip. This is if you take your left hand and just bring it down below your right hand. This is a good grip. It's going to help you keep the right hand out of it. So if you tend to turn the club pretty quickly and get really wristy with the right hand, if you put the left hand low, it's going to help you keep that right hand out of it. And it's going to help you line up a little bit better. Now, this is really going to help if you take your right hand out of it, right? We talked about how the right hand controls speed. If we take the right hand out of it with that left hand low grip, you're going to be able to control the ball a lot better. But you won't be able to judge distance as well. So that's kind of a con of the grip. You'll see a lot of tour pros, they'll use this for 6-footers and in, because if you start to do lag putting with a grip that has a left hand low, it gets a little bit tough to judge distance and judge speed. All right, so that's the cross hand. So again, we have the traditional, my favorite, the reverse overlap, and then the cross hand. Now another one that's pretty popular is the claw. So I'm sure you guys have heard of the claw, but what you're going to do is you're going to take your left hand, grip it the same way you grip the others, make sure your thumb is pointed down, and the right hand is going to come about 2 to 4 inches below the left hand, and we're going to put our fingers right on top, just like that. So your thumb is on the back, just like that. And this forces good grip pressure, okay? So if you're the type that doesn't know how to grip the club very well and you tend to grip it too tight or too weak, then this is going to control how strong you're gripping the club. So it kind of takes the right hand out of it a little bit and puts all the pressure on your left hand. So it's going to be a nice gentle grip. One of the cons, though, of this grip is that, I don't know if you can see this too well, but you'll notice that my forearms, okay, if you watch my forearm here, my other forearm, is that they're not in line. So if I'm standing here, pretty much in line with the camera, they're not in line. So what that's going to do is it's going to manipulate your stroke a little bit. So you might tend to move one way, move the other way, and it might get a little bit difficult. So that's the claw. And then the last one that I'm going to show you is the palm-to-palm grip, which is just taking your thumbs, putting them together, and then you can choose. You can do your left hand first and then cover it with your right hand, or you can do the right and the left, depending on if you want, again, direction with the left hand, distance with the right hand. That's going to help you the palm grip. Perfect. So now what this grip does is it aligns, notice how it's perfectly in line. I like the left hand being lower, the right hand covering on top. So because both of your hands are together, it matches your shoulders. Notice how my shoulders here, straight line, matches it perfectly, okay? Now, the only con of this is that you need a bigger grip. My grip is too small, and you'll probably want something a little bit bigger if you use that. So I would mess around with those different grips. So again, traditional, I'll show them one more time, traditional, reverse overlap, cross hand, or left hand low, and then the claw, I'm getting all my hands mixed up here, and then the palm to palm. Okay. Now, along with grip and everything. So if you have any grip questions, I would say comment them below. I'm going to take a look here, make sure anyone's saying anything I don't miss out on. Now, one thing that's also super important is when we pick out what kind of putter we're using, okay? So I have a mallet putter here. You can use a different putter. I didn't have one in my garage assortment, but you can use a blade putter. This is a little toy putter that I had in my house, but notice how it's a little bit thinner versus the mallet. And then there's one in between that's called a half mallet. So I think it's super important that you get fit for a putter. So you need to figure out the height that you need for your body. You need to figure out the head shape because that goes along with your stroke. Kind of a funny story here. I was actually, when I was in college, I was preparing for my player's ability test, which those of you who are PGA professionals, you know that this is kind of a big deal when you're trying to get your PGA card and become a Class A professional. And I was a sophomore in college, and I was out there playing with the director of our program. And we're playing, and I'm hitting the ball pretty well. My ball striking was decent. And the only reason, he said, the only reason you're not going to pass, or most likely not going to pass next week, is because your putting is awful. And I agreed. I said, I can't make any of my putts. I can't make 1-footers, 2-footers, 3-footers. So he took my putter away, which was a good blade putter. It was a little bit flat, which means it was laying down a little bit more, so my hands were lower. A great putter. I was actually fit for the putter, so it was really good. But he took it and he said, you're not going to see this until you graduate. And he gave me his putter, which was a couple years old and a little bit, the paint was a little bit chipped off of it, and it was center shafted, so the shaft was in the middle. And he said, try this one. And I started making it. Started making a couple more. And then the next week when I took my player's ability test, I ended up passing. So now there could have been a bunch of different factors as to why I passed and other times didn't or whatever. But finding the right putter for you is so, so important. And I can't stress that enough because everyone's stroke is different. Everyone hits the ball differently, stands differently, and especially you veterans out there, you know, everyone's got a different body type, so it's super important that you get the right putter for you. And let's see, we got a question here. Is there a variation in putting stroke? So the mallet putter is good for a straighter back stroke. So if you tend to move the putter straight back and straight through, a mallet is the one for you. If you tend to arc the putter a little bit more, trying to make sure you can see this on camera. So if you tend to have an arc in your putting stroke, then you want more of a blade. And then if you're in between and you kind of like a little bit of both, I would go with the half mallet. All right. And then there's also different shafts that you can get. Again, the best part about putting is that a lot of it's preference. So if I get someone coming in for a lesson and, you know, I'm not going to give them the same lesson that I'm going to give to another player. And that's because everyone moves a different way. And so I think we can't really teach conventional stuff. We just have to base all our teaching off the player. There are a couple things that you do want to keep in mind, though, and there's things that I do teach every player, and those are just the basics. These are the simple things that if you don't do them, then you're probably most likely not going to be the greatest putter. So with that being said, now that we've got our putter, we've got our good grip selection, let's go ahead and move into how we want to stand, our setup and our posture. So I'm going to make sure I'm standing here the right way. Okay, so let's go over our feet. Our feet should be pointed forward. And I'm trying to just make sure that our toes are staying parallel with our shoulders. So everything has to be in line. Basic head, shoulders, knees, and toes, all of that we want to be in a straight line. So I'm standing to the side here. You'll notice head, shoulders, knees, toes. minus my scoliosis. It's a little crooked there. I'm definitely a little crooked. Mom, Dad, I know you guys are watching. So our feet, we want to point it forward. We want to make sure our knees are slightly bent. And we want our eyes over the ball, okay? So if I put the ball wherever you can see it. Just standing here. So if I'm standing here, we've got the ball. We want our eyes over the ball or slightly inside. And that's going to be very important to how we set up every time. This stuff should be consistent. Your stance, your posture. If you start to not focus on those things and just focus on the ball, then it's going to lead to some inconsistencies. So now that we've got our head over the ball, I'll stand this way because it's better if you can see the putter. Now I've got my head over the putter. When you move your head, it should only move side to side. So if I'm here, the holes where the camera is, and I'm looking at you guys, notice how I'm moving my head. I'm only turning it so that my ear points down to the ground. If you start to look up, move your head up in any way, or start to do this motion, then your ball is going to move to the left or right, or it could do some different things, and that's going to manipulate it. So let's try to keep our heads steady and keep our eyes over the ball, slightly inside of the ball, however you want to do it, and the ball in the middle to the middle front of our stance. Okay, I know we've gotten a lot of stuff going. Let's see what we got here. Into the center of the okay. All right, so let's digest that a little bit. So now that we've got our putter, our setup, our grip, let's talk about how we actually are going to connect this guy to our body, to the ball, and in a hole. So when we take our grip, I like to hold the putter out in front of me. If you'll notice, I'm taking my thumbs and I'm just pointing them forward. So it's almost like you're just bowing your hand, okay? So that's how it's going to rest on the grip. We don't want to do a thumbs up or kind of have it bent there. We want to make sure we bow it out. So notice how it's pretty much in line with my forearm. Okay, so we want the putter in line with my wrist angle there. If I'm bending my wrist, then it won't be like that. So we're here. Then we're going to bring our elbows in. So I like it when the elbows are on the side of my rib cage. So they're just lightly touching the side of my rib cage. I'm not jamming them in. I'm just making sure that they're connected. So if I were to move my body, I'll put the putter down for a bit. If I were to move my body and take my hands together and just turn my upper body and think of it in three parts. So I've got my head, my torso, and my lower body. When you're putting, all you want to move is your torso and that middle section. Okay, so I'm going to look. A good way you can do this is to look in the mirror and to try to keep your lower body still so I can get into my putting setup. My lower body's not moving. My head's not moving. And my forearms and my elbows are staying close to my side. Trying to stay connected. Now this is actually a good little stretch. You definitely feel it in your back. Now if I were to take this and still do that motion and then tilt over, what does that look like? That's my putting stroke. Okay, so it's really just getting that motion. Sometimes when we start to get over the ball and we start to think too much about everything that's going on, we tend to do some weird, funky things, but this is all it is. Hands together, thumbs pointed at the mirror or this, whatever you're looking at, elbows tucked into our side, lightly on our rib cage, and then just rotating our body and not moving our head or our legs. There it is. That's the money stroke right there. That's going to take some money from your friends. I hope you guys are taking money from your friends. Okay. So if you have any questions on that, definitely comment them below. I'm going to take a look here. Brittany, how long do you usually practice before a round? Any suggestions for a pre-round routine? So when you're in the golf business, you don't really practice a lot before a round. It's just the name of the game. You tend to finish working a long day and then just go out and play. At least that's how I am in the summertime. I don't play much in the winter because it's freezing cold up here, and I work in the city, so I'm usually not seeing a golf course that often. But when I am able to play and able to practice, I try to do a lot more on the putting green, and I try to really focus on how the greens are rolling, the speed. Just take a couple balls and just roll them around and roll a couple putts, and try not to think too much about your stroke, because at the end of the day, if you're going to take a golf ball and I say, okay, take this golf ball and roll it into a hole 10 feet away, and you have to bring it back 4 inches and through 5 inches and let it go just past your torso, that's going to confuse the heck out of you. So why not just think of it as, okay, take this ball, roll it to the hole. How would you do that? So the same way with putting, when you set up to putt, you want to make sure that you're just looking at how the ball can roll into the hole. And don't overcomplicate it. Don't think too much about your swing. Or your stroke. I would just practice when you can. And then when you're about to play around, go right into it and just try to get the ball in the hole. Roll the ball, trust what you practiced. So before I play around, I actually don't think too much about my stroke or my swing, and just try to feel comfortable, relaxed, and excited, and play target golf. So look at the target, go for the target. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Perfect. Okay, so let's go over some different things we can do. So when you have your stroke, okay, so the way your putter moves, I would say different strokes for different folks, literally. So you could arc it a lot, so you come all the way down here, all the way down. It could be straight back, straight through. People are going to like different things, but one thing that's super important is that you find out the tempo that works for you. So a good way to find out the way you putt, I think, at least the best way, is to take a metronome. So right here I just have the metronome app, and once you press play here, so my putting stroke is 76 beats per minute. You can make it faster, you can make it slower, but mine is 76. So when you're putting at the course, one good way that you can practice your stroke is to put down the metronome or put headphones in and start to get that beat going in your head. So I would just stand here, put the phone down, and I would try to go with the beat. So I would rest for 2 seconds and then go back and through. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a really good app. I think it just helps with your putting, helps you develop a really good tempo. And it's important that you keep a consistent tempo throughout your round, because the way that you make contact with the ball, really the only time that tempo matters is from your backswing to when you hit the ball. I don't really care necessarily about what happens after you hit the ball, because